The sun outside, how is everyone feeling right now? Are we excited? It's been such good energy today, so many good smiles. So it's good to see you all. My name is Elena Session Goins. I am the Assistant Vice President and Dean of Community Life. It's a very long title. Essentially, I get to work with the awesome teams that do residence life, housing, community standards, and summer conferences. So a lot of these student leaders that are out there get to work with my incredible staff. So today's session really is a chance to have a session geared towards parents, just about our resources, the common questions that we get from families, just giving you some resources. We have some QR codes, we have all different information so that you are better informed to share with your student what they need to do when things come up. We always prefer to be talking to our students about concerns they have. So if you're informed, then you know how to direct them. A lot of this, almost all this information is online on our website. It's just in different places. So we hope to have a good time. We have 10 speakers today from different offices. Don't worry, I've given them a 5-minute time frame. And then at the end, we're gonna have an open time for Q&A. So if any questions come from this, you all can ask questions. So we'll be moderating that. I guess I just want to say I've been at Pitzer for 15 years. I worked in residence life and I worked in new student orientation. And so I get to see all of you and the folks who preceded you. And I know this is a big day. There's a lot of nerves, a lot of stress, a lot of excitement. What I hope this evening, as we kind of shift from this parent-focused session into there's a resource fair, there's a first-gen reception for any first-gen families, and then we have the dinner. Pitzer's food is incredible. Please try to attend the dinner. Don't go out into the village because we want you back here at 5:45, ready for our evening farewell session. It's really powerful. It's a good tradition. And we don't want you to miss out. And then you're going to hear about this later, but there is a reception just for families again at the president's house called Cheers, Tears. Cheers and Tears. So that's a little bit about today. You'll see your students again at 3:00 when it's the resource fair and first gen reception. And then hopefully you'll eat dinner with them and then we'll have the big farewell. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce one of my colleagues, Grace Castillo, who's our Assistant Vice President and Dean of Student Success. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everybody. What I'm primarily responsible is I oversee our student success initiatives. And we're going to start off with our Strive to Thrive. So this is one of our signature programs. We're really proud of our Strive to Thrive program, where we really focus on the dimensions of wellness and ensuring students are familiar with the holistic approach of their success here at Pitzer. Not only do we want them to be successful academically, but also personally as well. So basically, our Strive to Thrive is a mental health and wellness initiative focused on empowering students through programming throughout the year so that they become their own advocates, right? Before they got here, mostly parents are in charge of making their medical appointments, dental appointments, any kind of mental health needs they may need. So here we want students to really learn to be able to take on these skills themselves. And one important part is checking in on their mental health, right? So our goal is to take away that negative stigma about mental health and really focusing, just like we do, we have annual physical exams and we go to the dentist every 6 months. It's all important for students to check in on their mental health as well. We have an amazing staff with a licensed social worker as well as a mental health and wellness outreach facilitator. And we also have case managers who work with students individually, depending on what their needs are. This year, we also have someone who's really focusing on our athletics students who have additional stresses, right? And being, successful as a student, but also as an athlete, there is performance anxiety, there's additional stresses that they face. We want to make sure that they have support for that. What's amazing is that the person covering that, she was an athlete when she was in college, so she really understands the students and what they might be going through. Some of the other services we provide, as I mentioned, we have one-on-one case management meetings. We also have therapy subsidy program for students who are seeing a therapist in the community. For some students, even that $20 copay per week can be a barrier. So if students are seeing someone in the community, we will pay that $20 copay, per month. That's $80. So for some students, we don't want there to be any barrier for them wanting to access those services. As well as we work very closely with our student health services with the Claremont Colleges and Monster Counseling, which you're going to hear about a little bit later. As well as we have an ADHD drop-in group where we work on executive functioning skills, time management. We have an amazing person who will help them put a calendar together for the whole entire semester and kind of help them keep on track with their responsibilities. And then we have Wellness Wednesdays. So we have wellness ambassadors who are students. So it's an opportunity for peer-to-peer interaction with students who are interested. Most of them, not all, but some are psychology majors. So sometimes it's easier for a student to reach out to a fellow student than one of the case managers. So we want them to have that ability as well. And then this semester, we're just trying to make it a really comfortable, informal process. So we have coffee with case managers. So there's going to be someone out in our courtyard. Just, hey, you could just drop in and talk to a case manager about anything that you may want. So this is a student of concern from, I want you to know we have a care team that meets on a weekly basis to discuss students of concern. So if there's a student that's struggling, perhaps it's a referral from one of their suite mates, or maybe a parent calls us, or a faculty member notices that a student might need additional support. They fill out this student of concern form, which goes to a team who reviews and evaluates these. And on a weekly basis, we want to make sure we have all our students on our radar who might need additional support. A lot of times what we'll do is they're closer to their housing stuff. So who's been in contact with this student? Why don't we just do a breezy check-in, just see how they're doing? So this is a really great service that we offer just to ensure that our students are, are cared for, and, we have a plan of safety in place. Some of the events we have, for instance, we're having this one August 20th, an opportunity just for students to come together and paint and just to get to know each other. We really encourage students. The most important thing is we want this to be their home away from campus. So the sooner that they get involved and connect with other students, the sooner they're going to feel like this is their home away from home. So really encourage your students. I know when I was in college, I was very much an introvert, so it was very difficult to do. But the sooner you kind of push yourselves to do that for your students, if you encourage them to do that, I think the better it will be. So this is one way they can do that, where there's not even has to be a lot of talking. They're really just coming in to paint, but through that process, they'll be able to kind of connect with other students. And then, as I mentioned, we have coffee with case managers. Some ways students can connect, or you can as well. We do have an Instagram page, which is PZ Strive to Thrive, just so you can see all the events that we're going to be promoting throughout the semester, and different types of workshops that they can be a part of. And then what's really amazing, again, this is a signature to Pitzer specifically, is that we have a mental health and wellness hub. So this is just like an area where students hang out. If they want to meet with the case manager, they can, but I'm going to be honest, some students come in and just have their lunch or in between classes, work on papers. And this is new. We've only had this available the last year, but we've already outgrown the space because so many students are coming in and feel comfortable with meeting with individuals. And it's also really important because sometimes if a student finds themselves in a crisis situation, if they haven't met anybody, it's more difficult to work out. But these are opportunities where they get to know people on an informal basis. So when something does occur, they know exactly where to go. And that is located on Sanborn Suite on the second floor, 226 to 228 for students. In addition, I oversee our Pitzer Academic Support Services, which we call PASS. And this is for students who may need an academic accommodation. We have experienced staff who can come in and meet with them, evaluate what their needs might be. In most cases, we require medical documentation, and we work with the student and advocate with them on behalf of faculty to ensure that they have what they need so that they can be successful. Our two staff is we have a PASS coordinator as well as a director of disability access and success. And that's the website, and I think we also have the QR code. Connie is the individual I just mentioned that she oversees our academic coaching and success, and all students can make an appointment with Connie. She does specialize in ADHD support and strategies and tools, but really any student can see her whether they have an official accommodation or not. They're welcome to drop. And then she has drop-in hours every week, again with snacks, where it's just really informal. Students can just come in and meet and just talk to her about whatever is going on, and if they're having any struggles academically, she can support them. And here is the QR code if you want to scan that for a future appointment or to fill out the application. I also oversee our, it's really important that students create a sense of belonging and connect on campus. So I oversee the various affinity groups that we have on campus and just different ways for students to connect with each other. So we have staff that looks at some of our special populations like first-gen students, transfer students, athletes, our undocumented students, foster youth. So any students that may need additional support, they can come to our office and we ensure that they have what they need and understand that their situations sometimes are unique and we're here to support. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over to Joe, who is our Associate Dean of Housing and Community Standards.
Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, thank you. Before I begin, I just want to thank everybody for the amazing energy that you all had today. Shout out to our custodial and maintenance staff that hustled during the last couple of weeks to get all of your rooms ready for move-in. Let's give them a big round of applause. Also, shout out to the orientation and the RA staff that were out and about today, helping everybody do some heavy lifting. You'll see in a minute, but so much of the work that we do in residence life and housing services is on the backbone of our amazing student leaders and student staff. So we can't do the important work that we do in our office without them being a part of our team and supporting us. So we'll talk a little bit about them in a second. But again, Joe Clear, Associate Dean as of July of Residence Life and Community Standards. So welcome, first off, to our beautiful, gorgeous, amazing residence halls that we have at Pitzer College. You can see the sweeping views of the mountain. In winter, I stop in my tracks every day and can't believe that I work on such a beautiful campus. As that says, we are here to support you. So this is a place where obviously students live. We don't just want them to survive, though. We're here to make sure that they can thrive, especially through a transition as important as being a new student on the Pitzer campus. Who is here to do that support? Myself, I work with our residence director staff. So Johnny, who is in the POS, Pitzer, Atherton, Sanborn halls and supports our first year students. Any transfer families in the house? Raise your hands. All right. Our transfer students are going to be scattered depending on how many credits and units they had transferring in. So anybody with a second year status is going to be in West. So that's West East Scandera halls under Bianca Rojo. And anybody with a junior senior status will be in either Meade or Pitzer at CCA, which is our third-party partnership vendor just north of Foothill Boulevard. And that's our new RD, Victoria Callahan. So I supervise our RDs and those people supervise our RA student staff. So anytime that you have your students have a question or issue, we really encourage them to go to the RAs first. And if it's a maybe more heightened or elevated issue, or they just want to talk to a seasoned student affairs professional, you can have them go to their RDs and we'll work directly with our students. As Elena said, we really push to work directly with your students. And every time that you call us, we're going to say, we'll talk you through it. We'll counsel you and we will gently nudge you to tell your student to come talk to us about the issues so that we can work with them in their own individual development as students and as people. The other side of our house is our housing and conference operations. Kyle Smith is new. He will be here August 28th, I believe. And his team, Karis, who is here in the fall while Lizzie is out on maternity leave, they do all the nuts and bolts. So anytime you have a housing switch or you have questions about housing selection come the spring, that's the team that's kind of doing that back-end support system through our housing operations work. As I mentioned, our amazing, tremendous student staff. We have 28 RAs throughout our 4 neighborhoods, as I call them, POS, West, Meade, and CCA. Pretty much every floor has their own individual RA. They're actually, for you first year families, they're meeting with their RAs right now. It's an exciting time for their first floor meeting. RAs are going to be doing things like programming. They're going to be helping with any roommate mediations and conflicts that arise. So I will give my favorite plug for a student affairs quote that I've learned over almost 17 years. We cannot meet an unspoken need. So if your student has a concern and they need something and they're not comfortable in their space, we can't read their minds. So we need them to come to us, whether that's through an RA, whether that's through an RD, whether that's coming straight to our office and talking with an associate director or whatnot. We really want them. We want to meet their needs and we want to make sure they're thriving in that space. So resident assistants are kind of our frontline people. They're going to recognize kind of when students are not acting on their baseline behavior, when things are out of the norm, they're going to let us know. As Grace mentioned, we might do a student check-in just to see how things are going. We also have our Residence Hall Council, which is our grassroots advocacy group. So RHC, if RAs are doing floor and maybe building things, RHC is looking at our entire footprint across the residence life operation. They're going to be doing a new thing called floor reps this year. So your students are going to have an opportunity to volunteer as a floor rep. We're going to lean on those people to do surveys of how the residential experience is going. We're going to ask them to brainstorm ideas as well, because our RAs do programming and they have great ideas, but we also want to gather ideas from the community at large. And so RHC is the advocacy and programming group that will help us do that. And then in our residence life office, we also have some office assistants that help with checkouts, handing out that toilet paper that many of you came by our office for this morning, cleaning supplies, things of that nature. They're wizards in our lockout system and can help out with any key card issues. So our mission, real quick, we cultivate residence life students in their individual development and academic pursuits. Again, we want to meet with those students individually with their needs and get those needs met. But we also recognize that sometimes their academic pursuits are going to fail because of what's happening in the living environment. So we'll also connect them to folks like Connie, folks like people in our mental health and wellness division, to make sure that the academics aren't failing because of the residential environment. We also care, and this is something we prioritize safety and well-being. Our RAs do community walks twice a night, every single night, while residents are here on campus. So we're kicking rocks out of the doors. Please don't prop any doors. Tell your students not to prop any doors. Today is an exception. Every other day, we want to keep those doors closed for the safety of our community. And then we're a learning community, so we foster inclusive community where students can meaningfully engage with others while supporting the core academic mission. It is a time of transition. Your students are going to be interacting with people that are different from them. We want to help them navigate those challenges that are arising, because we all know from our personal experience as adults, we have to work with people that are different than us. This is their learning lab, and we're going to help them do that in our residential environments. So again, we're doing our programming, we're doing conflict mediation, we have on-call care support, I'll get to that in a minute, lockouts and key coding, our after-hours weekend support. So we do have RAs on until midnight, Monday through Thursday, and then we also have RAs and office staff until 2 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. Outside of those hours, if students have any concern, they can call campus safety. And campus safety is going to get them in touch with our live-in on-call staff, which is myself, our 3 RDs, and 2 of our other community life staff. So we hold a 24/7 duty phone. Your students are never alone. We are always there to support not only just, a student staff when they're holding their own phone, but 24/7, we always have somebody professional staff on call. If there are any housing assignments or room changes that need to be made, we ask that they work through the RA and the RD first before coming to our office. If it's a conflict or mediation situation, we're going to lean into student development. We're going to encourage them to work on conflict resolution skills, and we will coach them through that. They are never alone through that, but we're going to try that option first. If things still aren't quite working after we gave it that good old college try, we'll look at a housing switch. And then we have a plethora of resources and information. Our student leaders are leaders across campus as well. So they're a part of affinity groups. They're a part of different student orgs. They are working on other locations on campus. So they are great. They have a great knowledge base of the resources that are available at Pitzer. And lastly, FERPA, which is our Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This essentially, when you call our office and you're going to say, I need you to check in my student, and we're going to say, well, we can't verify that your student lives in student housing because we are protecting that confidential information. That is an educational record. But we will say, if that student lives in our building, one of our staff will be following up with them, and we will have them your student directly follow up with you. So that's because whoever's making that phone call, we don't know that that's you on the other end. We don't know if that's a family member. We don't know what that relationship with that family member is like. So we protect the student's confidentiality. So we don't want that to be a barrier for you to call us, but we train our staff to say, we will get in touch with a professional staff member and we'll work to get that message to a student and have that student contact you directly. All right, we are located in East Sanborn in that corner there on the top third floor. You can reach us at any time via email at housing@pitzer.edu. We also have an Instagram that's not on there. PZ Res Life is our residence life Instagram. RHC, Res Hall Council, also has PZ RHC on Instagram. So we encourage you all to get connected to those spaces as well so you can stay abreast of what resources we're putting out there, what events are coming up. Thank you very much. Right now, I'm going to hand it over to our Director of Career Services, Andre Argyes.
Thanks so much, Joe. Well, again, welcome to Pitzer, everybody. Before I get started with my presentation, I have a burning question because I saw in your itinerary that you guys have cheers and tears later tonight. So this is a safe space. I just want to know, have there been any tears yet before we even get there tonight? Yeah? Okay, cool. And tears of joy count too. So tears of joy if you're sending your child this way. So my name is Andre Argyes. I'm the Director of Career Services. I'm so excited that we get to have your student joining us here at Pitzer. So I just want to jump right on in. This is our mission. I'm not going to go over the entire mission, but I did want to point out a couple pieces here. Our office is really here to help your student both define and achieve what success looks like for them, right? So it might pain you that your student maybe doesn't have that same definition of career success as you might have, but we want to come alongside them, right? And ultimately help them define, what does career success look like for me? Right? It might look different than the classmate sitting next to me. It might look different than my parent, for example. But then beyond that, right, in theory, it's nice, but we also want to help them achieve that, right? So providing a lot of great opportunities where they can connect with folks, develop those professional skills to really set themselves apart in the professional world. So we do that through a number of ways. There's three specifically. The first is through discovery, right? Your child, you know them better than anybody else. They have their own personality, their interests, different values, right? They might not even know what all of those are quite yet, right? They're still developing. And so we offer assessments to really help them better understand who am I? Why am I like this? What motivates me? What are my interests? We have group projects and conversations and reflection opportunities. We do one-on-one advising so they can actually schedule appointments with our office to really better understand how they're wired, what would bring them a sense of purpose and meaning in the world. So discovery is the first part. And then once they have a general idea of, okay, I think this is what I'm interested in, then we want to help them explore. Right? We want to provide opportunities for them to really not only just take that concept, but to actually say, okay, let me go ask people that are actually doing the things that seem interesting to me, right? So we're going to provide opportunities for them to connect with different industries, folks in different roles. Many of these are alumni and family members. So I'm going to talk a little bit later about ways that you can even help support your student and other Pitzer students. But we do provide many information sessions throughout the year with external employers. We host on Tuesday nights something called a Career Discovery Series, where we will bring alumni, parents, trustees, family members to just share about their journey, right? What did they do in their undergrad? What advice would they have for those interested in this particular industry? Opportunities for them to network and connect with people on LinkedIn that they maybe didn't know prior to that. Many just job fairs, the benefits of the Claremont Consortium. Our students have access to employers across the 5 Cs, right? So if there's, say for example, Microsoft is coming over to Harvey Mudd, our students can actually go to those career fairs or to those interviews. And likewise, if Accenture is coming to Pitzer, Script students can come to us, right? So the many benefits of the Claremont College Consortium. We do have summer internship funding opportunities. Maybe your student has an unpaid internship and it really would benefit them in their interests, but they need to get paid. They have to buy food and transportation. We have funding opportunities to help support students that they can apply into. Many great resources, but really all there to help them explore their interests. And then lastly, to achieve, right? So, okay, great. I have an idea. I talked to this individual. I met with this professional, and this really is where I want to go. How do I stand out with my resume, right? How do I network or start those informational interviews, right? How many people in here have negotiated a salary before? Yeah. Do you remember your first time trying to do that? There's some laughs in there, right? It's intimidating. It's scary. Like they're going to say, no, who am I? All the insecurities, right? We want to help them better understand how do I negotiate my own salary? And how do I search for those internships, those jobs, those research opportunities or fellowships as well, too. So ways that you can assist your student. This is where you come in, right? This is a mutual partnership. It's not just all on us as much as you'd like to just kind of wipe wipe your hands and say, now it's on Pitzer. No, we still need your help in this. And the first is to understand that change in direction is normal and actually a very valuable experience. Right. Stats show that about 80% of college students will change their major at least once. And on average, 1 out of every 10 student will change their major more than once. So it's okay if your child is saying, hey, I thought I wanted to do this, but I have a friend that told me about all these things that they're doing here, and that seems interesting to me, right? Just understand that change is normal. If possible, help connect them with individuals in your profession or your network, right? They don't know what they don't know. And if you're like, hey, this person can really give you some great advice, provide those opportunities for them. Share your own career path. You probably already have, and they're like, Mom, Dad, stop. I've heard this 100 times. But that still helps, right? The more that they're going to be hearing from their professors and staff members, they might come around and say, you know what? I'm sorry I didn't give you guys a better attitude, but I'd love to hear about what you guys did. Or, hey, can you actually help connect me to that person that I, rolled my eyes about earlier? So definitely do that. And then encourage action, but at a pace and an approach that's appropriate for them, right? They're balancing classes, extracurriculars, all of that. Be patient with them. Don't overwhelm them, but also don't not give them that information, and recognize that at the very end of the day, career development is a student-led process. Right. You might have a student that is not ready to take that step that you're like, man, like when I was a freshman, I did this. When I was a junior, I was doing this, right? They need to own the process at the end of the day. But if they won't listen to you, encourage them to come talk to their faculty, to their staff, and the resources and support that we have here for them. Now, ways that you can assist other students, right? When you assist other students, you show your student that people are willing to help. Right. And so if you are willing to do something a little bit beyond to support another Pitzer student, it really goes a long way. So the first is to host a winter break job shadowing student. So every winter break in January, we have hosts, alumni, family members that it's virtual. So you don't have to worry about people flying across the country to you. But as little as 2 hours, 4 hours, half a day, full day, where they get to sit in and just learn about what a day in the life looks like, right? Maybe you bring them into a team meeting, or maybe you show them a project you're working on, or you look over their resume, right? These are great opportunities for our students. We had 74 hosts this last January and about 140 or so students that participated in this. So great opportunities. There's more information at the resource fair after this. So there will be flyers and you can get some information about how I can get involved. I can look around here and I know you have some cool jobs out there or some cool career paths that you've taken. So I'd love for you guys to share that. Submit references or referrals for jobs or internships. If you have anything, send them to career_services@pitzer.edu and we can help share that with our students. And then of course, remind your student, hey, I'm happy to share anything with your friends, right? If you have friends that are interested in the kind of work that I do, let them know that you're willing to help. Oops. There we go. So here's our team. We are so excited to be able to support you. We have a couple assistant directors, a senior associate director, where we do appointments, advising, can help support them. We have multiple dogs in our office too. So at the very least, if they just need some emotional support, please stop on by for that. And then here is our contact information if you would like to stay in touch. So we're just here to support. We're so excited for you. Enjoy the weekend. Give many hugs, take lots of pictures, but just know that your students are in good hands. So with that, I'm going to bring up Jessica with the Community Engagement Center.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Chires, and I'm the Assistant Director of Community Engagement in our Community Engagement Center, often referred to as the CEC. I'm filling in today for our director, Trisha Morgan. She's out until September, so that's why I'm here. But I don't have slides for you. I welcome you to take a look at our website, and you can find everything I'm going to share today will be on our website. And I'm going to go over a couple things with you about community engagement at Pitzer. If you don't already know, students here are required to do social responsibility praxis. That is unique to the Claremont colleges. We take pride in being the leader in doing this and having this as a requirement for students. But essentially, what students learn in class, they must take out into the community and practice in the community. That's where we come into play. If you look at the course catalog, you can see classes listed as SRX courses. That stands for Social Responsibility Praxis. In those classes, students are required to do 40 hours of community engaged work during a semester. We also allow for opportunities for students to do that outside of coursework, so they can do that on their own if they have a project or an organization that they're passionate about working with. We organize our work into 5 pillars of engagement, and I'll just briefly go over those. The first is social media, arts, and communication. Essentially, that is utilizing student action and the power of partner relationships to advance social justice through social media and the arts. That's one pillar. Our next pillar is the People's Pitzer. That pillar is focused on civic engagement and political advocacy. We have a lot of affiliations across the country with coalitions such as Project Pericles, and we take a lot of pride in also being a leader in civic engagement on campus. Our third pillar is public health. It's one of our newest pillars. We saw a need for public health at Pitzer. There is no, among the actually 7 colleges, there are no minors or majors in public health, but there is Claremont Graduate University has a program in public health. So oftentimes we'll have students who design their own majors and have a true passionate interest in public health. So we seek to also support that passion. Our fourth pillar is educational access. That pillar focuses on tutoring, mentoring, and college access. We have longstanding relationships with some of the local school districts, and we give students the opportunity to work directly with K through 12 students in the broader community. And our fifth pillar, which I'm drawing a blank right now. Our fifth pillar is, research and technology. So our research and technology pillar is focused on one hand, helping community partners to conduct research, but more inside of campus, we focus on technology projects. So we have for example, a project with Community Technology New York, where we teach students how to develop and create, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, network systems in times of emergency or other, for organizations who may not have access to the internet and networks. Outside of our 5 pillars of engagement, we also have 4 racial justice programs, and I'll quickly list those. One is called ABC, which stands for Amplifying Black Communities. The next is called NE, which is Native and Indigenous Initiatives. The third is LIT, which stands for Latine Inspiring Transformation. And the fourth is ACE, which stands for Asian Community Empowerment. And those 4 racial justice programs also came out of us observing a need within our students to do some of this work and, be able to do it in community outside of just the campus. So we have collaborations across the campus with different departments to foster and support this work. We are a small office of 4, but we get a lot done. We host multiple events every year, and we also employ about 20 students per semester. So it's a great place if your student is looking for a job while going to school. The CEC is a place that they're welcome to. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. But if anybody has questions, please feel free to ask during the Q&A. And once again, you can go to our website and just search Community Engagement Center. You'll find information on everything I just shared. We also have a Pitzer CEC Instagram and a Facebook page, so you can find us there as well. And I will pass it now to Carrie, our Senior Director of Study Abroad and International Programs.
Thank you, Jessica. Again, I'm Carrie Fuse. I'm the Senior Director of Study Abroad and International Programs. So our office has kind of a dual role. First is that we take care of and support our international students. So for those of you who are parents of international students, one, thank you for coming from so far away. And two, the first 3 days that they've been here, since they come early, have been great. So hopefully that's the feedback you've been getting from your students. But I'm here today to talk about study abroad, which is strange because welcome to Pitzer, and now I'm talking about them leaving. But we hope that you as parents will support that in their 4-year plan. Oh, this is my team. So we are a mightier team. There are 8 of us. Todd and Marciano support our international students, and then the rest of us support students who are planning to study abroad. We are in West Hall, so especially if your students are planning to study abroad their 3rd year, which is very common for Pitzer students, many of them can just come downstairs in their pajamas in the 2nd year residence and see us in West Hall. So why should your student study abroad? There are many reasons. First and foremost, it's very supported at Pitzer and is a very common, like I said, plan for students, but also because it fulfills the expectation we have at Pitzer of intercultural understanding, which is one of our core values. Students will get the opportunity to connect with others who are different from them. They'll perhaps have the opportunity to study subjects that they may not have access to here at Pitzer. Of course, they'll develop resilience and develop personally and gain lots of skills that will prepare them for their future career choices. One of which could include a postgraduate fellowship. We see lots of students who go from a very common pathway of having studied abroad to earning a prestigious fellowship post-graduation. As I said, it's very supported. Over 50% of the student body here at Pitzer does have 1 or more study abroad experience. And in this last academic year, 171 Pitzer students studied abroad. Again, most of them were 3rd year students. They participated in 51 different programs in 31 countries. So the options are plentiful. Here's just a snapshot and a QR code if you want to see our list of approved programs, but we too will be at the resource fair. So if you want to stop by and get a flyer that lists our programs, we'll have those there. Students can study in any term. Most do choose to study abroad in the spring semester, but that over 50% statistic that I shared with you is students participating for the most part in semester length programs, which is pretty unique and special for Pitzer. There are options for students of all majors, and like I said, options in 50+ countries, including the United States. I want to highlight some programs that we run ourselves here at Pitzer. So they're programs that really do embody the unique and special nature of a Pitzer curriculum and experience. And our semester sites are in Costa Rica, where we also have a biological field station. So that's a great option for students interested in studying the environment or at least being in nature. We have a program in Ecuador, a program in Parma, Italy, a program in Nepal, and also a program that goes to Botswana and South Africa and Southern Africa. And then our summer programs are in Brazil, Costa Rica, and Vietnam. This is just a list of the programs that Pitzer runs, but as I mentioned, these are 8 of over 50 options that we have all over the world. And again, come to the resource fair and you can pick up some postcards and other materials that provide more information. Study abroad is not more expensive than Pitzer, so that's a good thing. We do have a one price policy here at Pitzer, so any study abroad experience is the same cost. And for students who receive financial aid, their financial aid applies. So you'll hear from our director of financial aid, and he'll talk more about that. As with my colleagues who talked about our priorities for student safety, health, and well-being, we do also have lots of supports in place to make sure that your students who are studying abroad are healthy and safe, including a comprehensive international travel health insurance plan that will cover them while they're abroad. This is a very wordy slide, apologies, but it is a number of questions and resources that we hope you as parents who are essential parts of the student journey abroad will be asking your students. Mostly starting next year, although we will show up in students' first year seminars and hopefully they'll come to info sessions this year, but really the planning process for study abroad starts for most students in their second year. But we just want to reinforce that students' academic advisors and the team in the study abroad office is here to help them through choosing a program, preparing for the program while they're abroad, and then when they return. That's all I'm going to say for now because we're very quick, but you can head to our website and visit us at the resource fair. And I'm going to pass it on to Cindy from Student Health Services.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Cindy Chu. I'm one of the nurse practitioners at Student Health. Student Health is committed to promoting the physical health and wellness of all students at the Claremont colleges. This is, you can find our website here, this QR code. And we're located in the Tranquata Student Building. It's across from the library. And we're a multidisciplinary team that includes registered nurses, medical assistants, nurse practitioners, physicians, and medical receptionists. This is a QR code for our website. All of this information is on our website. Students can also access their patient portal through our website. And for just so you're aware, all of your students' medical information is confidential and we cannot disclose information unless the student gives us written permission to do so, unless there's a concern about their personal safety or the safety of others, also as required by the state of California public health departments. We're available for same-day urgent visits for things like illnesses and injuries. We do offer appointments for routine medical care, such as sexual health, routine health care, asthma, family planning and such. And then we also do provide like complete physicals for like sports or study abroad programs. Most visits to student health do not have any charges. However, if your student requires certain things, that there are some charges, and we always do review with students prior to performing any of those services. That includes things like x-rays, if they need medications, immunizations, or laboratory visits. With the student health services, they can access all of their medical records through the patient portal. Also, they can access any charges that they accumulate from student health services through their portal under walkout statements. Just some general information about check-in. Appointments are available. They can either call Student Health Services to schedule an appointment, or they can make appointments through the patient portal. Our services are open to any student that is currently enrolled at the Claremont colleges for the 5 undergraduate schools. So it doesn't matter if they have the student health insurance plan or not. It's open to all students that are registered. And we do not do any insurance billing. So any charges that they accumulate through student health services is they can either pay at the time of service. If they do not pay, then after 2 weeks, it'll go to their regular student account here at the Pitzer campus. And you can get the walkout statements, which has all the itemized billing that you would need to try to submit to your insurance for a possible reimbursement. just some general information about our website. We do ask that students bring their student ID when they come to see us, and also just to be aware that there is a $15 charge if they miss their appointments. And at the library, we do have a wellness vending machine, which is available, and it includes things like emergency contraceptives, COVID tests, flu tests, and other like general health products. And as in terms of COVID, Student Health does offer both rapid antigen tests and PCR testing for COVID. The vending machine will have a combination flu and COVID test available for $13. And there is no longer any contact tracing here at the colleges. And we do offer vaccinations for COVID-19 once they're available on an annual basis. Some schools require flu vaccines. I'm not sure what the current status here at Pitzer is, but we do encourage all students to get their flu shots, and we will be having a flu clinic on each of the campuses. Usually they happen around October. And then when Student Health, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. When we're closed, they can access 24/7 care through Timely Care, which is the telehealth service that's available to students. And this is just some information about also emergency rooms and urgent care centers that can be available to students when we're closed. Some general information about other resources on campus. And this is our Instagram. Thank you. And then next up, we have Adrienne Hillard from Mount Center Counseling Center.
Hi, so I'm Adrienne. I don't think I realized how big the crowd was. I am from Monsoor. You'll hear it be called MCAPS, Monsoor Counseling and Psychological Services. I am one of the senior staff psychologists there, so let's get to it. So this is part of our team. This isn't our complete team, but this is our team. We have a very diverse team of psychologists that have different specialties, different modalities that they work with our students. The big guy in the back, that is Gary. He is our director. And the lady in the front with the glasses and the blue shirt, she is our assistant director. And these are some of our psychologists. MCAPS is the counseling center to the 5 Cs. So we see all 5 C students. We offer psychological and psychiatric services, which I'll talk about in a second, but they're free. So I always tell students, if you're coming in with a pre-diagnosis, if you're coming in and you're curious, come see us, right? We're not guaranteeing that we'll see your students. Sometimes they have needs that our center can't support, and I'll talk about those, but come see us. We can help you get connected to members in the community. So here are our services. So we do individual therapy, obviously, couples therapy. So if one of the partners in the couple is a student, the other person does not need to be a Pitzer student. So your student could be partnered with someone from, I don't know, Davis, California. They have to be in the state of California, and we will do couples therapy with them. We do group therapy. So we have a women's group, we have a neurodivergent group, we have lots of different groups for different things, a process group. We do workshops. We actually do workshops here. We work with Grace a lot, doing a lot of different workshops, wellness workshops with your students. Believe it or not, some of the workshops don't seem like they're a workshop, but they are. So we'll make slime, right? Just it seems juvenile, but actually just sitting there and not saying, well, how do you feel? And how did that make you feel? And the feel and the feel, that's a lot. Right? So we make slime and then they start talking and then we can help, right? So these are some of the workshops. We do consultations with staff and faculty. Psychiatric services. We have 3 part-time psychiatrists on staff. They are here Tuesday through Thursday. They are able to make appointments with that staff. Again, if they're coming in with medication that they're already taking, they can see those psychiatrists free. Obviously, the medication themselves aren't free, but the services are. We have crisis support, and I think I have a slide on this, so we'll talk about that. And then we can give referrals for off-campus. So if your student needs specialized care that we are not able to provide. Let's say they are struggling with substance abuse, which is common, right? Not just use, but abuse. We don't have a 24-hour center that they can come and get services. So we will, what we call handholds. We're going to hold them and we're going to make sure that they get connected and referred to appropriate source. So our crisis services and protocol. Has anybody heard of protocol yet? No, not yet. Good. So our office hours are from 8:30 to 5. We have 2 dedicated crisis therapists during that time. That means that at any time, if your student is in distress or in crisis, they can walk in. They don't need to make an appointment. They can just walk in and they will be seen. If our 2 therapists are busy, then it rotates between the psychologists. So we will, if I have an appointment and that person is just doing okay and we're just chatting and there's a crisis that comes in, our clients know that their appointment will be put on hold and then we will talk to someone who is in crisis and distress. For after-hour support, so after 5 p.m., they will call our same phone number. There's not a different phone number. They'll call our same phone number and press 1. And I think it's on the back of their ID cards. They'll press 1 and they will be connected with a live therapist. And that therapist will ask them what's going on, what's happening, how can we help you? And then we are also on call. So we're secondary. We know what's going on. They talk to protocol and we all rotate an on-call phone. So if it's 2 a.m., they call protocol and now something needs to escalate to possibly hospitalization, they will call us and we will make sure that they get hospitalized if needed. And let me just say this, there is a huge gap from having ideation, whether it's suicide or homicidal ideation, and being hospitalized. That's not our first step. So if there is a student that is in crisis or distress, we're going to try everything we can before we get to hospitalization, okay? But if we get to hospitalization, that means that we're in serious territory, right? And we want to keep them safe. So that is something that you can help us with. If you notice different distress in your students, you know them better than we know them. So you notice that they're not eating, they're not going to class, they're not showering, they're not doing the activities that they normally would. Maybe they watch Game of Thrones on Fridays with their friends, and you're like, hey, how was the show this week? And they go, okay. Well, why didn't you watch it? Well, did you go to class this week? No, I was tired. I slept 12 hours and, right? Start to listen. Okay, babe, I think we need to kind of see what's going on. What's happening? Are you stressed? What's going on? Did you go through a breakup, right? How many people have been broken up with? It sucks, right? It sucks. So these are things that they're struggling with, friendship groups, interpersonal issues, rooming issues, right? So we want to make sure that we support them. And you probably are going to be eyes and ears as well. We have boots on the ground, we have the RAs, but you also know your students. So if you start to notice something, we are a confidential source, so we wouldn't be able to tell you if we see your students or not, but we welcome information. So you can call and say, hey, Adrian, Susie Smith, I don't think she's doing really well. Sign said parent, and we will then do what we need to do to make sure that Susie Smith is good. So here are some questions that we always get, some of our policies. Academic accommodations. So if your student is struggling, maybe there was a death in the family and they're just struggling, they can come to our office, see us, and we will definitely write them a letter of accommodations and just say, hey, this person is struggling, maybe they need more time on test. It is not our job to make sure that it happens, but it is definitely our job to support them in that process. ESAs, we do not write letters of ESA. So if they have a home therapist that would write them a letter, perfect. We do not write letters of ESAs. I'm gonna come over here, housing accommodations. So we do not write letters for housing accommodations. Housing accommodations are usually approved by the ADA, and we do not have that jurisdiction. Stimulant medication. So if your child, it's usually for students that have been diagnosed with ADD or ADHD, if your student is already on stimulant medication, has already been assessed, then our psychiatrist will more than likely be able to help them continue that medication. If they've never been assessed, an assessment is not a 15-minute assessment, is a full battery of testing that happens. If they've never been assessed, our psychiatrist will not be the first prescriber. However, we can help them find psychiatrists in the village or close by that will do the assessment and will do the first prescribing. If they're not on, and it's only for stimulant medication, there's also non-stimulant ADHD medication. If it's non-stimulant ADHD medication, if it's medication for anxiety, depression, XYZ, our psychiatrist can help. Referral process. So if your student comes in and just says, I have had a therapist for 4 years and I like that, I want a long-term therapist, we can definitely help them with that referral process. If they come in and say, I want to see somebody for psychodynamic therapy and I want to explore, we can help them with that. If they just want skill building, we can help them with that. Oh, fancy. So I would say, please screenshot this if you can. To make an appointment, you can either call that number up there, and that is the same phone number as the crisis number for the after hours for protocol. You can also stop by. So those are the two ways your students can make an appointment, is stopping by or calling. There's our email address. Our website has also the information on stimulant medication if you want the policies and procedures. It'll have our groups on there. And then we also have an Instagram, so we show all of our fun workshops and things like that. Support your students. Let them grow. I just need y'all to know, if you haven't taken that from anybody here, we love your students. We really do love your students. We love working with your students. They're so bright and interesting and just great. So support your students. Let that little tree grow. Let them grow, right? They're going to be okay. We got their back. There's lots of eyes on your students. And so trust the process. And that's it. And I'm going to introduce Mike T from Financial Aid.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Tuzalowski. I am the Financial Aid Director here at Pitzer College. I am here today for the Financial Aid Office, but also the Student Accounts Office. We are two separate offices, but many times we are confused with each other. So we have the Student Accounts Office, who will process billing, payments, payment plans, and a variety of other things related to your billing statement, including the 1098-T tax form. On the financial aid side, we're going to be working with you on any financial aid applications that you need to submit, any notices that you need to pertain to, and then you also will need to look at some of the documentation that we're going to be working with you on to submit for each year thereafter while you're here at Pitzer. So we are located in the McConnell Center, second floor. Many times our offices may be scary to students, but we want students to know that we are there to help guide them. So most importantly, please come to our office. Ask your student to come to our office, or you can call our office or stop in as well. If you have any questions, need any help with financial aid forms, need any questions related to some of the federal changes that we might be seeing in the coming years. So please be mindful that if we do see any changes coming to the financial aid landscape in the coming years, that we will be communicating with you, but we are always there as a resource there to help guide you and also educate you on financial aid and the resources that are there for you and your students. Also, Joe mentioned about FERPA. Please note that our office, the Financial Aid Office, and the Student Accounts Office both must adhere to FERPA. So if your student has questions, we can answer those questions for the student. But if you have specific questions about your student, we may need a FERPA release. You will be able to find that on the website, and your student can also find that in the My Campus portal as well. So you're moving your student in right now, but I'm going to talk about next year already. So you will need to apply for financial aid each and every year that your student is here at Pitzer. The deadline is traditionally March 2nd. I'm assuming it's going to be the same for this upcoming year. That has been fluid with the FAFSA changes over the past few years. And with the financial aid application, we're always looking at 2 years behind. So if it's 2026, 2027 year, we're looking at the 2024 taxes. Once we have all those documents and everything, and we have everything in by March 2nd, we will review those documents and then start to release award letters in June, and then send that information over to the student account side for bills to be processed in July. Once bills are processed in July, you then have your first payment that is due on August 1st. So that's going to be cyclical, become comfortable with this process because it is something that you will experience each year for the next 4 years. And most importantly, if your student again or yourself have any questions, please stop in to our office, call us. You can schedule a Zoom or Calendly appointment right on our website. Our website is our best source for most up-to-date information, including tuition fee information, financial aid information. And then most importantly, we also do have Instagram, Facebook as well. So please follow us at PZ FinAid, and thank you so much. And I'm going to pass it off to our Academic Affairs group, and that's going to be Sarah Gilman, Associate Dean and Professor.
All right. I don't even have any slides at all, so this is good. Okay, so there is a lot of you when you turn around. I'm Sarah Gilman. I'm a professor of biology here at Pitzer College, and I'm an associate dean as well. And I am here to talk about the academic side in 5 minutes or less. And I know you guys are all very tired because you've just heard an hour of information. So I just have a few quick points I want to make. The first is to talk a little bit about academic advising for first years. So we have it's a unique program among the Claremont colleges, and it's one I'm very proud of. I used to run it. But your student's first year academic advisor, up until they declare a major, which is usually end of sophomore, start of junior year, is also their first year seminar professor for this semester. So it is one of the regular faculty at the Pitzer colleges who is teaching a seminar on a topic that your student is interested in. And the reason why we like this as an advising model and that we think it's a very strong model is at a lot of other places, your student will meet with their academic advisor once or twice a semester, once to pick classes and maybe once to check in. Here, they're seeing them twice a week, every week for the entire first semester that they're here. So they really get to know their advisor. It builds a really strong relationship. If they run into any bumps, they struggle in a class in their first semester, or they're unhappy with the courses that they just registered for at the beginning of August and they need help figuring things out, they get to know that advisor really well, and it's a really strong relationship, and that's someone who can help them through that. So I want to reiterate what a couple of other speakers have said about sort of giving your student the freedom to start to negotiate things on their own. If they call you up after the first or second week, or even after the first or second year and saying, I don't understand this thing about my financial aid, or I'm really not sure what I'm going to major in, or I don't understand what my professor is talking about in this other class, the first thing out of your mouth should be, have you talked to your advisor about this yet? Because we really want to reinforce that this is their journey, that they have the responsibility to make it work, but the advisor is there to help them through it. And the advisor cannot explain their financial aid, cannot solve their calculus problems, but can point them to the financial aid office, can pick up the phone and make sure there's somebody there ready to help them, or can help them figure out how the tutoring program for calculus works. So that's really the first thing I want to say is that thank you for trusting us with your students, and they're really in good hands, and we really have a system in place to give them a strong first semester. The second thing I want to say is sort of the nature of the liberal arts college is that we really want to give our students a chance to explore academics. So both in the classroom and outside of the classroom, and you just heard about some of the amazing programs we have with study abroad and community engagement. Lots of students, I can't remember, somebody actually said this, lots of students come in thinking they're going to do one major and then they change at least once in their 4 years. So don't let your student put themselves on too tight of a track, but really give them space to explore different majors. I mean, there's a reason they don't have to declare their major until the end of sophomore, start of junior year. And that's because that's our philosophy here. That's the liberal arts philosophy. We really want you to broadly explore all of the academic curriculum before you find the part that's right for you. And that is both inside and outside of the classroom. So encourage them to take some risks, try some new clubs and activities, and really kind of get out of their comfort zone a little bit in this first year. And that will be sort of, they'll find that those are some of the most rewarding experiences they have while they're at Pitzer. Okay, so those are my two bits of a point. The third thing I want to bring up is I imagine you're probably feeling overwhelmed by the amount of information that we just threw at you in the last hour. Imagine how your students are going to feel in this first few weeks of college. The good news is that we have a class for all of this. So I teach a course with one of the vice presidents in student affairs, Brad Tharp. It's called Navigating Pitzer with Purpose. It's offered in the spring semester only, and it's only open to first year students and new transfer students. And we go week by week through all these amazing opportunities that we have to offer at Pitzer and help them figure out what they are, how they work, whether they might be a good fit for them, and how, essentially getting back to the idea of exploring, how doing things like study abroad or community engagement or joining the ballroom dance club is actually going to help them navigate a path through college to help them figure out what comes after college. And that they have, by the end of that course, the idea is that they have a 4-year plan. They don't have all their answers figured out, but they're much less anxious about what they're going to do while they're here and what they're going to do after they graduate. So just if you could let them know that that course is available to them, we do it in the spring so that they have a chance to get adjusted to Pitzer first, and then they can start to figure out what the rest of their college career is like. And that's really all I have to say. So I'm going to turn it back over to Elena for question.
I'm so proud of our team. Incredible people. And I personally think you all and your students made the right decision coming to Pitzer, because we really do wrap around your students. So I'm very impressed with my colleagues, and specifically, I'm going to give a shout out to Sarah Gilman because she got rushed at the end, but she's incredible. And I love that she was able to create that course for the second semester. So I think lessons learned is you get to be a resource and support to your students as they make decisions for themselves moving forward and directing them to all those resources. I'm going to say something. What do they say? We went over time. So we're not going to have a ton of time for Q&A. I'm willing to stay until 3:15, but not everyone in this room is. So there is going to be a resource fair starting at 3:15. All of these offices will be represented. So if we don't have time for all the questions, definitely go and check out the resource fair and you can get your questions answered. With that being said, we are willing to answer any questions that you all may have that you think is relevant to the big group. If you have one-on-one questions, please visit the resource fair. But if you have a question that you think other parents could benefit from, feel free to raise your hand and we will try to answer it. So who wants to go first? Very back of the room. Yes. Yes. It's an academic class. So one thing I would say that Pitzer does really well is new student orientation is very intentional. We spend an entire week with your students. They get all of this information in different applications, but your students are going to spend the next 8 days in orientation getting this in smaller pieces. You all get the like from a fire hose, but your students are going to learn it. And it's also going to be reiterated by their first year seminar faculty, by their new student guides who stay with them for an entire semester, by their resident assistants, coaches, all of those type of things. So yes, that's a great question. Correct. The question is academic support. Where do you get academic accommodations? Grace Castillo talked about this a little bit, but Pitzer Academic Support Services is if anybody needs disability accommodations or anything like that, they're going to want to reach out to Pitzer Academic Support Services. A lot of you have done a great job. Your students are well connected. They've met with Nikki or her team, but if they haven't met with Academic Support Services, they're going to want to reach out. Academic Support Services will be as a part of orientation as well. Yeah, academic_support at pitzer.edu. Way far over there. The answer is yes. Anybody can use it, and I think she spoke to this. They will give you a bill that you can take and apply to your insurance, but everyone has access to the health center. What other questions do you have? Don't be shy, right in the middle. Oh, yeah. What is the course name was the question.
Yeah, it's called Navigating Pitzer with Purpose. And it's a quarter credit course, so it counts as an academic course, but it's not a full course.
But it's still beneficial. Over here.
Yes.
Transfer and second semester first years. Hands raised. Anybody have questions? Yes, right in the middle. Summer.
We're gonna maybe tag team financial aid and study abroad. But yes, students doing a summer study abroad program through Pitzer will earn 2 academic credits, which is half of a semester of credit. If they receive aid, it also means they're going to use half a semester of aid. Do you want to add anything on? Okay.
Killed it. What other questions do you all have? You have been a wonderful audience, by the way. I know it's been a long day after moving them in. If you want to come and talk, oh, who? Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. What's your question?
Quick question about like the first few weekends.
Yeah.
Are there sort of scheduled activities for the first few weekends here? So they're, encouraged to stay on campus and want to.
The question is there programming the first few weekends? Specifically in student affairs, but I believe it's across campus. The first 6 weeks, actually, we do heavy event programming. Our student leaders are putting on events. They're bringing students to events. We have Welcome Week over the next 2 or 3 weeks where there's fairs, there's info sessions, there's fun social events. Your students are not going to be bored unless they choose to be bored. So I would say as far as support goes, encourage them to be going to things, to be checking things out, to be looking for jobs. We have a huge club fair for the 5 Cs as well as for Pitzer in the first 2 weeks. Just encourage them to get out and be active, meet some new people, eat with different people in the dining hall. So yes, we take that very seriously. What other questions can we answer? Okay, just to plug, we have the resource fair from 3:15 to 4:30, and then we have dinner out on the mounts. And first gen reception is also happening at the Grove House. Anything else? And we are all here if you have any individual questions that are applicable. Thank you.